I guess we can go Overgrown Tomb into basic island, which will be good against some more aggressive decks. Is Green-White Reclaimer tier 1? It is, in my opinion, powerful enough to be a tier 1 deck. I think it's one of the best decks in the format, but I define tier 1 by how many people play a deck. And I don't think enough people are playing Green-White Reclaimer Titan for it to be considered tier 1 by my definition. But I do think the deck is incredibly good. Oh no, we were supposed to go Growth Spiral into Bloodchief's Thirst. Oops. I think I'm going to remand this. Just so bad if they have Coco, they just pass. Needed to go Spiral into Thirst there. It would have been so much better. So much better. Now we can go Uro into Thirst, though. Although, maybe we just kill the Ooze, because Ooze gets our Uro. We'll see what we draw. They only have 3 cards in their hand, but, you know, killing their Soul Ring is usually, like, advisable. I guess we could just, like, Spiral. Sorry, I keep tapping my mana awkwardly. Okay, yeah, so now we drew another push, so we're going to go Sunken Hollow, Thirst their Elf, and the next turn we can push the Ooze. I could Uro, right? I had Uro mana. I just, like, you know, was rubbing my belly and patting my head at the same time, so I couldn't talk and tap mana. But thankfully I made the mistake enough times that I just, you know, found the line that was better. I don't know. I Control Z is better than right clicking, but then like I can't lean back in my chair, which I value very highly. Okay, let's not just die to Ballista. If we can help it. Alright, this is fine. I'll just make a 2/2 Shark and block. Get that Forest. I tried to get all Kamigawa lands for the deck to match today. May switch it up. I got Cafe Mocha, which Esther was nice enough to grab for me. She is a very sweet lady. Yeesh. This Mystic Sanctuary card seems like it could be a real player in Modern one day. It's like almost good enough to be like a staple. Just like a pet card I'm playing for today. I think Uro is like a reasonable call on the meta. There's like a lot of red decks and Uro gains 3 life, so it's another pet card of mine I'm testing out. I don't know, probably not good enough to like be like a super serious card, but it's like at least neat, right? I think it's good for like content to play cards that people don't play with very often, like Uro. I think people like to see it. All right, they need land plus Ballista to kill us, and you know that would be exactly the 2 unknown cards. However, Ranger Captive does mean that we're going to need 2 pieces of interaction to stop them, so it's a bit awkward. Yikes. I guess that's what I get for making jokes that are not on the usual joke roster. Okay, so Uro turns on Revolt so we can Fatal Push the Ranger Captain. But then we also need to draw a piece of interaction to stop them from comboing. And that is the piece of interaction, because we can we can Mystic Sanctuary back, push, and spiral into it. Yeesh. So I'm going to F6. That way my opponent will think I'm F6'd, and then they'll just want to go for the combo now. They can turn off the auto yields and then kill the ballista. I kind of view this as like a bluff in paper where you just go, yeah, that resolves. And then you kill it to make them tap out for it now. Not that they were like super unlikely to not go for it here. But I think it was good to do that. You could definitely bluff and stuff on Magic Online, which is a kind of a big part of paper, not a super big part of paper Magic. But it's way harder to bluff online. But there's some spots like that where it's possible that you want to keep your eyes out for, I think. Yeah, it didn't even bother dealing me 2. I guess we'll see if we find Jace off this. Weird that I didn't summon the card I said into existence, but whatever. But this was, still ended up being a good draw. Okay, Tail's End will buy us a turn against their combo, I think. Can also counter a Ranger Captain ETB trigger. Oh yeah, I should have maybe said Jace, the Mind Sculptor off the top. Alright, that works too. I saw my historic blue-white gifts list with Umbero Rights. Is that something I tested? It is something I tested. I thought the deck was okay. Probably not something I recommend, but an okay Magic deck. I tried a lot of different versions. Like when I streamed with the deck, it looked really, really good. But when, I felt like as soon as I stopped, for whatever reason, I just stopped winning with the deck. Game over. Yeah, you don't want to block into the township there. No, I don't think we wanted the Tails in the township trigger. I think that there's like better targets. Don't think the Tails at the township trigger matters almost at all. The best Tails End is the one you never have to cast. It's exactly like Brainstorm. Although I'm not sure how I want to sideboard in this matchup. Am I crazy for wanting like one Ceremonious Rejection? I think Rejection's pretty good. I'm gonna try it. I don't want the Gargaroths, I don't want Arasta, I don't want Veil, don't want Spellbomb. I think I want to only play one Tails End. We did get the 5-0, yeah. I guess we could play like 1 or 2 Gust. But Gust is like not that good against them. It's okay. I'll play like the first Gust over the 4th Spiral and then submit this. And I'll use the restroom too. Okay, thank you for your patience. I'm gonna keep this hand, I think. It would be a shame to lose the bit later by 3. It would be a shame, yeah. Also be a shame if I ever change this notification. What are the best decks right now? I think like the Bance Ephemerate deck is real good. I think my opponent's F6 to their turn 1. Let me like, yeah, I think they're unyielding through their turn. Let me make sure. I think they're not F6'd anymore. Okay, cool. I could maybe force that, but I don't think I'm into it. We could also hold up Spell Snare, but I think they're more likely to play a 3-drop here, and then if they have Eladamri's Call, we can maybe still Spell Snare. Yeah, so I think I lost my train of thought. There's the Bant Ephemerate deck that's real good, and then I think Green-White Reclaimer Titan is also really good. I think the Scourge decks are solid. Alright, I'm telling my opponent I have outs to their infinite life. I'll treat it as if they have infinite life. Do I know? I think Miracles and Jeskai are both solid choices. It's just I'm trying to vary the content a bit. I feel like maybe it's gotten a little too stale. But like, so I'm trying not to just play these same decks every week. But I do think both Miracles and Jeskai are good, and I will play them again at some point. Whoops. Oh, yeah. When am I playing Green-White Reclaimer? I'll just leave that to Fran. Not smart enough to play Green-White Reclaimer. What is the reason behind green? I hope it's not Uro. Yeah. It's Growth Spiral. There's also a Sorcery Speed Growth Spiral that's pretty good. It's for Saddleback Lagak. It's for Saddleback Lagak. Are we 100% in for cycling a Typhoon for 0 if Jace is our only win con? Feels like having a Shark for a blocker might be pivotal. Yes, we need to cycle Shark for 0, I think, because we're missing land drops. Like, we don't have lands, but like if we had the luxury of waiting, like I don't think it's completely unreasonable to wait. If you want a good green-white reclaimer list, I would like search for Fran or X Whale on Twitter. Can a mod make a command? If you want good Titan content, you should check out Fran's stream and then also figure out how to spell Fran's name. I feel bad for saying that because I also have a very confusing name, but I still don't know how to say it after having it explained to me like 1,000 times. There, Fran. Fran, I'll mod you, then you can make whatever command you want. Because I'm trying, when people ask me like where to go for information on stuff, I want to have like a command and be able to send people towards like masters of various decks. It's something I'm trying to make an effort to do. I'm just going to brainstorm here. Hope they don't have land plus Ballista. Oh wait, I have to slash mod, not exclamation point mod. I know how to spell your name, I just don't know how to say it. Uro's kind of the Simic Saddleback Lagak. Yeah, I think that's probably the best analogy I've heard. Yeah, of course, dude. I do. You are like one of my favorite streamers, period, not just MTG streamers. And I think it's good to send people your way. If you're not following Fran, and if you like good MTG content, and especially if you're interested in learning how to cast Primeval Titan, I would really recommend checking out Fran's channel. I mean, this doesn't matter. They already have Infinite Life. Just gonna push it. Yeah, that does matter. What if you like bad MTG content? Then you can stay here. Of course, goes without saying. Alright, I think that we can Sanctuary back Cryptic and just kick a Thirst onto the Spike Feeder. Have Remand or Rejection up. I think I like the Assassin's Trophy. I will say that I like when art is polarizing. I like it when people can't figure out if art is good or not, because I think that that's like that's what makes good art, is when it makes you feel something, it makes you look at it and you're like, wow, I don't know if I like that or not. And so I like it. I think good art, some people really like good art and some people really dislike it. And I think art is not it's not good to just try to appeal to the lowest common denominator. So I like the decision to have these secret layers have a lot of personality. I like that decision. And so, like, even if I don't like these secret layers, I think ultimately these are good things. Alright, let's just start blessing Jace. Jethro also cheering. I don't know what's going on, but I do appreciate it. This just doesn't matter at all, does it? Yeah. Happy holidays, Mark Carls. Your font was a little confusing. So we're gonna fetch, and they're gonna Mind Sensor. I'm gonna Fatal Push. If I need more cards, I'll brainstorm at some point. Like, maybe I'll Mystic Sanctuary back Thirst and brainstorm next turn. But they're shuffling away the Arbor Elf now. I guess yes. Doesn't do anything by itself though. Dude, Veil of Summer actually counters Jace's ultimate. We're 6-0 on the day, feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I don't know if I broke it. I mean, this, like, Sultai Uro control has been a thing for a long time. I just think I have a list I like. Good to see you too, Lamp. Or I guess hear from you. Or I guess read the text that you type. On the draw against Mole Drifter. I wonder if our deck can beat a Mole Drifter. Probably not. So Uro could have reasonably killed the opponent at 42, and you would have attacked with it if they had infinite life because of the card draw. How would I have handled that? I mean, it was my opponent's decision to not gain, you know, enough life where they don't have to worry about Uro being attacked. And I also typed out in the chat that I plan on attacking with Uro. You should gain some life. So I would continue to attack with Uro in that spot. And I don't think I'd feel very bad about it. I'd feel a little bad. But I think I'd be in the right to attack with Uro. I think if you know, yeah, I told them I'm planning on attacking with Uro. You should gain some life. I gave them the opportunity to gain life. They're the ones that only chose to gain like 42. I would not have tried. I would not have like attacked with zombies to kill them. But it's like, you know, attacking with Uro is beneficial for me, and I don't think you're supposed to like handicap yourself in a spot to benefit your opponent because of this gentleman's agreement that they like didn't, you know, they were totally aware of what was going to happen. Okay, I think I've made my point. I have a problem where I just kind of say the same things over and over again. After someone asks me a question, I need to, and I think it's because, you know, I'm just sitting in a room talking to myself, and so I don't hear anybody say, "Yeah, that makes sense." I need to stop. I'm gonna plus Jace here. I think I'm just gonna get a basic forest. No, they can draw mutagenic growth. Yeah, if you ever want me to stop, if you ever want me to shut up and stop saying the same things over and over again, just say, yeah, that makes sense. I kind of want to play the second Gust over the third Typhoon. I think this configuration looks pretty good to me. I don't think I want Spellbomb. I guess I want to cut a Tail's End. Play the third Shark. It's kind of the top of my curve's a bit high, but I also have a ton of cheap interaction. And, you know, ramp to get here. Yeah, 600 viewers without a raid is pretty cool. I guess that's what happens when I, you know, branch out a bit. Don't just play the same decks every day.
You ate the spring rolls this morning?
Uh-huh.
Good. I was like, the spring rolls is going to bring it to you.
I already ate them. I'm full. Thank you.
You're full from what? Coffee?
Well, yeah, a sandwich too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the spring rolls.
Yeah, okay.
Esther hates to hear that I'm full. She gets personally offended.
I am like a grandma already.
Yes.
Like, you must
That's everything
eat.
I look for in a woman. Is to be my grandma.
Oh my god. You must eat. Honey, eat. You don't eat enough. You're so skinny. Yeah, that's how grandmas are.
Yeah.
Every time I come over, my grandma's like, "Are you hungry? Eat." And I'm like, no, I just ate. But it's hard because the language barrier.
Yeah. Esther's grandma talks at her in Russian, and Esther talks to her grandma in English, and they kind of understand each other.
I actually had a dream last night that I was like with my grandma, and I was speaking a little bit more Russian.
Ooh.
And she was like, "Oh, see, you know how to do it." And I'm like, no.
I think we keep this on the draw against Red Black Scourge. It does need to draw land, but we're a 27 land deck, which I'm sure Fran thinks that's like barely any lands at all. But, you know, we just have, I think, a reasonable hand here. All right, Austin, you can definitely get a freebie. Prospector, Snoop. Yeah, I honestly just kind of love it. I do think that you maybe want to play more fetch lands so you can find your swamp. I also think Agadeem's Awakening is not like that good. It's okay. They took the growth spiral. What the hell? Yeah, like maybe you want to play Prismatic Vista and like more basics and less Blackleaf Cliffs. Something to look into. Just like maybe like two vistas, 4 mountains, 1 swamp. Go down on maybe go down on Cavern. Not sure. Just go down on something. And I do like the sideboard Platinum package, just boarding out the vials, bringing in Platinum Imperion actually seems real good. So I'm on board with that. Let me know how it goes. I guess I think your list looks real good. I think the goblins. That's about the split of goblins I would play. I would probably play Unearth over Claim Fame in the sideboard. I don't know. Yeah, why do you have Claim Fame over Unearth? Is there a reason I'm missing? But you have 3 drops. I like the Reign of Gore. I think. I might play Surgical over Soul Guide Lantern. Like, Surgicaling Uro seems like pretty good. Like, you have enough card advantage to kind of make up for the disadvantage there. And, like, Surgical is better against Oopsal spells. Claim Flame can give Snoop haste to combo. I think Unearth getting back 3 drops is just way more relevant because you're a Goblin Matron deck. What a weird game this has been. I guess I'm just going to gust this. Get a forest. I think you want to use your gust like relatively aggressively in this matchup because not all their threats are red. SCM has redeemed a pet Athena, who is in the other room. I don't think I can get her to come in because she really values spending time with her mom, but I can go and pet her, or you can wait until she, until later, and we can refund you until maybe she's in the room. Let me know what you want to do. I think I'm just gonna Bloodchief's Thirst and then hold up my mana. I don't think I need to push right now. Like grow their future scourges. Cool. If a mod could refund SCM for the pet Athena. I feel bad because Athena, like I used in my other setup, Athena was always like right behind me because I was in the living room and I had the couch behind me, which she really liked the couch. And so like petting Athena was always like a really quick and easy thing. But now she's only in the stream room for like maybe like 2 hours a day. And, I do still want you guys to, I still want her to, be able to say hello to you guys. But it's been a bit of a problem I haven't been able to figure out, I guess. Oh, damn it. I used the push instead of the thirst. I just realized it too. Oops. Still winning by a lot, I think. But definitely an oops. That's what I get for just like giving 90% of my attention to chat and 5% of my attention to the game. It's kind of fine. All this does is like negate, point the Uro triggered ability back at me, but it's not something we need to deal with immediately, and we can just gust it whenever we do need to deal with it. Oh, I know, Dark Brews. Oh, I know. Yeah. It's gonna pass. Yeah, it's really good against Omnath, but like against these 3-color Uro control decks, it's like a little sus. I think I want to draw land, so I'm not going to fetch now. It's also like we kind of want to get another basic in play too, so Sunken Hollow is going to enter untapped. I'm also just kind of okay if they put this on top, because then we'll have already gained our life off of Uro. I also wish this was a Scourge, that way Uro would just kill the Scourge with the life gain. This is such a weird game. It's turn 8. I feel like now that neither player has really done anything. Our opponent does choose to put the Rain of Gore on top. And now Polluted Delta can get a Sunken Hollow, which is pretty good. I would like to hit a land and just escape Uro immediately. Wish not granted. Maybe I was supposed to cycle Veil of Summer. Maybe I'll just do that end of turn here. I do want to start, Field of Deading them. I'll just escape Uro. I'll take 3 damage. Oh no. Go down to 17. So smart for not cracking the Delta. Doesn't Abrupt Decay answer Rain of Gore? Yes, if you're asking why didn't we Sanctuary those, because we only have 2 other islands in play. But yeah, we got answers. We got answers. Aspiring Spike has cast Cryptic Command more times than anyone. Maybe not anybody, but I would expect them in like the top 1% of Cryptic Command casters. Dude, my opponent Soul Guide Lantern, Nihil Spellbombed, Rain of Gourd, and double bolted to deal with this one Uro that still drew me 2 cards. There's gotta be, I don't know, there's feels like not the way to approach the matchup. Not that, you know, I'm sure the double Lightning Bolt wasn't part of their plan. But, I mean, Lightning Bolt is not that good against me, I will also say. Like, Uro is still in my graveyard. Yeah, maybe just Surgical, I agree. Agadeem's Awakening, alright. Well, you're dead on board, I think. I think we're about to be 7-0 on the day. Oh, man. No. And then I won't be able to play the deck in the challenge this weekend because I'm playing in the PT. You know, boo-hoo. But maybe I would play this deck in the challenge. Uro is sneakily as good as Hogak. No. No, Hogak is in a different tier. But Uro is definitely good. Yeah, it's got so down about the lack of Bant Triumph. We're just playing Sultai now. Hogak was such an absurd card. It has Trample. Why did it have Trample? I don't understand. Yeah. Thank you. I forgot to thank Goblin Guide, but Goblin Guide is still putting in work for us, despite me not thanking Goblin Guide. So my opponents looks like they're just playing Burn. I gotta say, Burn matchup probably very good. Do I need to hold up push? Probably not. I don't think I really want to get a swamp off of this Vista. If they Skullcrack, I'm not really too worried either. I mean, Modern and Legacy are also very different formats, where like the graveyard combo decks in Legacy are just not faster than like the blue combo decks. And so like they can kind of just be kept in check by other combo decks. They're like slow and resilient. But in Modern, like the graveyard combo decks were the fastest, and that's like part of why they were so good. It's because they're just faster than like so many other things. Yeah, it's been a long time since I played against Burn, and sadly after this match, maybe it'll be a long time till I play against it again. I'm not going to fetch, that way I can get more zombies next turn. I think I'll remand any 2-mana spell, yeah. Oh, if my opponent plays a hasty 1-drop, I'll just get a Sunken Hollow and then push. Is Prismatic Vista better than Fabled? Yes. You do not always have 4 lands in play. But when you have 4 lands in play, Fabled Passage is better. So it's not strictly better, but generally better, yeah. If you always have 4 lands in play, I envy you. Teach me your ways, O wise one. Well, I'm just not gonna play around like another Skullcrack. We've done it. We've gained life off of Uro, and I think this game is over. If my opponent casts a spell, I'm going to Field of Ruin their Sunbait Canyon. I hope I lose. I'm rooting for my opponent, and I think you should be too. Yeah, we're dead to Boros Charm plus Burn Spell, if that's exactly their 2 cards. Yeah, Boros Charm off the top, and to us not draw Force of Negation off of Shark Typhoon. That'd be pretty sick. But there are some dreams that cannot be. And there are some storms we cannot weather. I'm going to cast Fatal Push here because it wins the game. the main reason I'm casting it. Thinking of making this deck in paper. What are the tails in the board for? Other Uro Omnath decks. It's also kind of good to just tails into your own Uro trigger. Good against the Arayo deck, good against Oops All Spells, good against Mono Green Tron. Welcome, Spikelings, to the Shark Typhoon. Assassin's Trophy is kind of bad, but this art's kind of cool. I might leave in one Tails in. Counters Rift Bolt, counters the Uro trigger, counters Fetch Lands. Val 4, 2 months in a row, love to see that second month. Awesome to see your view count go up these past few weeks. Thanks, buddy. Been on my grind, trying to make the stream as good as possible. Today's been the highest in a couple weeks, I think. How do I like Bloodchief's Thirsted Modern? I think that it is generally worse than Fatal Push. The sorcery speed matters so much. It matters way more than I thought when I initially evaluated the card. But it's like fine. It's a good way to supplement your Fatal Pushes if you feel like you want more, in my opinion. I didn't have a code for the Secret Lair. I just went to GoatBots and bought the Assassin's Trophy, which looks sick. So cool. Yeah, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain as you play Uro. I mean, I play a lot of Uro these days. Uro's just so good, and there's a lot of ways you can play with it. Like, I don't enjoy casting the card Uro. I think it's pretty boring, but I think that there are some... I like playing this deck. I like playing the Bant deck, you know? Well, this hand can't lose with this hand, maybe. Maybe we can. Seems pretty good, though. So what I don't like about Uro from like a gameplay perspective is that when you have an Uro in the graveyard and 4 mana to escape it, so rarely is there anything better to do. And you just do that over and over again. And I find that very boring. I like Magic games where there are lots of decisions and decisions matter. And one card just being cast 3 times and like being the best thing to cast when you can cast it, I think leads to bad gameplay. And I don't think this is a very hot take. But this is my opinion. And if you like Uro, that's also fine. You know, everyone likes different things about Magic, which is, you know, the cool part about the game is how divisive it is. How this is just one game, but there are like dozens of subsets of communities who enjoy to play it in different ways. It's always fascinated me. I think I am just going to Decay now. We could like discard Uro to hand size, but I don't think I'm that interested in discarding to hand size. How do I like Boros Burn as a deck in general? I think it is worse than Prowess, and has seemed to be worse than Prowess to me for a while now. And I don't really think anything about the metagame has changed to make Burn better than Prowess at the moment. I would love more than anything in the world for Burn to be like a good deck in the format again. I think Burn is like a pretty healthy deck for the format, but it just is worse than Prowess. And that is largely due to this Uro card, which I'll have to reveal is actually not a pet card of mine, is actually a super popular card in the format. You're seeing a ton of Boros Burn? That hasn't been my experience. This is the first time I've played against Boros Burn, I feel like, in weeks. But Modern is still, like, I think pretty good and open, I should also say. It's like, red aggro decks are, like, very good and viable. It's just, like, specifically Boros Burn, like it's existed for years, isn't very viable right now. And that's fine. I think formats changing is ultimately a good thing. Opponent did not have a Skullcrack earlier, so I'm probably going to go for an Uro escape over Gargaroth. Any reason to play Uro from the hand instead? I don't really think so. It would let us hardcast Force on a Skullcrack? No, they would just respond before we get the other land into play. Did I hear about the possible new format Rush? No, I haven't heard anything about that. They did draw a Skullcrack. So can our Force of Negations... No, it can't! Awesome! Oh, man. You love to lose. You love to lose to Burn these days. You have to win game 3 on the play, though. Or while we were on the play. Do I think Prowess is unhealthy for the format in a way? Not really, no. It's just like... With the way the format is, the viable red aggressive deck is Prowess instead of Burn, and I don't think that that's inherently a bad thing. I do not think that the same deck being viable for 10 years without changing a card, or obviously 10 years is hyperbole, but I don't think Burn and Jund being phased out of the format due to power level is inherently a bad thing. I think that that by itself, Burn being playable, basically the same deck forever, is not necessarily an indicator of health. Or an indicator of unhealth. I can keep this. I think I missed the window of the game in Uro. Instead of Spiral plus Snapcaster is a 2-1 blocker for Guide. I mean, we gained life off of the turn 3 Uro. So I'm not sure that would be better. Yeah, this is the new Secret Lair Assassin's Trophy, and I kind of love it. And if you don't love it, consider that art is subjective, and that's kind of a good thing that we have different opinions on it. I mean, I think blue-white X control is I think real good actually at the moment. It's just like blue-white control, like traditional blue-white control is like better as Jeskai or Bant or Miracles. But I think it's good when decks change and adapt as the format goes. That way you're not just playing the same matchups forever and ever. But that's just how I like to play, I should also say. If you don't like to play that way, there are ways for you to play Magic. It's kind of funny I say this, but like one of my favorite ways to play Magic casually is me and my friends still just play RTR Innistrad Standard, just like for fun with each other. Because we really, really like that standard environment. Which was a great standard environment, by the way. They put the Goblin Guide on the bottom. I'm just going to jam Jace. I'm going to brainstorm. I'm pretty happy if they burn the Jace. We just get a 2-for-1. Yeah, Rights is a hell of a card. Can you brew around Dreadbore? Someone asked me to brew around Force of the Black Force the other day, and the reality is you can't brew around a removal spell. Like, you can play Dreadbore and Jund, or Dreadbore and Grixis, but that's not a brew, right? You're just playing a different removal spell. But I do, you know, it's like, you know, I don't think there's anything like super special with that. It has 3 cards in their hand. One of them is a Rolling Vortex. Interesting. Also interesting. I think I just want to trophy the Rolling Vortex this turn. Maybe I'll just slam the Gargaroth. Go to 9. Though it's not really like Tail's End is a lot of permission. And then we can trophy the Vortex. If they only have the ability to activate the ability once, we can Tail's End that trigger. It's just not very likely we die next turn, although it's possible. I think this is fine. You have a poster instead of a magic card. Yeah. I will say the trophy looks weird in the hand. I get it, but I also like it a lot. Yeah, I agree the difference between 8 and 9 is pretty small. Like, our opponent can have land, double Boros Charm, or 3 1-mana burn spells to kill us. Neither of those are very likely. So I guess we just make a beast token. They're ready to pay for the Vortex. But now we have Snap Gust up, which is just so good here. We can, of course, decay the Vortex, too. Have to tap, like... leave a 4 Sunken Hollow. Yeah, it surprised me how this hasn't quite gotten old yet. Yeah, they are dead on the attack. They have to double Boros Charm us, or still have to, or 3 1-mana removal burn spells, which both seem really unlikely, especially because it didn't happen last turn. I mean, if they top this to not die, they're still taking damage off the Sunbaked Canyon, so they go down to 9 and then Helix the Beast, and then... I mean, as soon as they Helix the Beast, they lose the game. That just is game over. I think they need to bottom the Helix. I mean, I think it's very likely with the contents of their hand that they have no outs, and I think that's probably something they're coming to the conclusion to right now. They put the Helix on top, which there's no way they can draw Helix and kill us, right? Because their hand needs to either be a land, double Boros Charm, or 3 1-mana burn spells, and if a Helix goes to their hand, it can't be that. I guess they could have Deflecting Palm. I mean, obviously they don't know about this Decay. Maybe they'll just scoop to the Decay. But the game has ended, I think. Definitely ended with the Gust here. They could have Deflecting Palm. That's not impossible for it to be in their hand. But we win again, and we are 8-0 on the day, which is very exciting for like a fresh 75, just crushing it. I've had a feeling that this deck would be really good, and I've been working on the list for a bit. Keep this. I'm going to play Sanctuary on turn 1. Opponent has revealed Luris. Why isn't that in the chat log? And why did I only see it after I capped? Must have been some kind of lag. You tried out the Banned Historic list and kind of hated the Gideons. Why do I like them outside of the interaction with Pact? I don't think I would play them without the interaction of Pact. But they also killed Narset, which is a big deal. I found in the Sultai matchup. But I wouldn't play them if it wasn't for the Pact thing. But I think they're good enough with the Pact thing to play. Just so good with Pact of Negation. And then they kind of also function as your removal spell too. So you don't need to like play like Baffling End in the main deck. If I no-hit run today, if I do the perfect 15-0, should we raid Hob and say I completed my no-hit run today, sending you energy for yours? I got you, Simon. We might have like different approaches to matchups. Or maybe my deck's just bad. That is definitely possible, as my Bant deck is just terrible, but I think it's good. It would not be the first time I've registered a deck for a tournament thinking I broke it and then being very wrong. But I do think that it, in my experience in Pro Tour level events, it is better to try to metagame a bit and play something a little off the walls because people are very afraid to do so, and the formats often become very predictable. And I think I've had a very good read on... Ooh. Awesome. I think I've had a very good read on both the historic and standard formats, where I think that the most popular deck in standard is going to be mono green food, and the second is going to be Gruul, and then there are going to be a bunch of really bad blue-black decks. And I think my Gruul list is good for that meta. And I also think that in historic, people are going to play Neoform and Sultai and oh no, I'm blanking on the other deck. Neoform, Sultai, and Goblins, and I think my Bant list is like geared to beat those decks. And so I find that more so than other tournaments, PTs are like really good to try to metagame for. And that's largely due to the fact, again, just to give you my thesis statement, largely due to the fact that people are afraid to metagame. People are really afraid to metagame. But also I could be just totally wrong. We'll see. My very first PT it was a Pro Tour Nashville, which was the Pro Tour where Aetherworks Marvel was super dominant. And that tournament, Marvel was the best deck, but there was also like a lot of zombie decks that were sometimes could out aggro Marvel. And so I played main deck Kozilek's Return with Elder Deep Fiend to trigger Kozilek's Return. So that way I could beat the zombies decks if I didn't have my very best Marvel draws, and I felt really good about my game plan. And I had a really good day 1, and then I mulliganed to 5 a ton in day 2, but I found success in metagaming for that tournament, and I think that's usually something you want to try to do.
I don't know how to focus.
You don't know how to focus?
On studying.
A good way is to have something else you need to do, and then you can procrastinate by doing something else.
I already did that yesterday.
I know. I was mostly joking. How to make Esther focus. Have you had tea already?
I had coffee.
Usually you do better when you drink tea. You could do some push-ups.
Can't do push-ups.
You could do some push-ups on your knees instead of regular push-ups.
No, I'm not doing any physical activity. Maybe I can stretch.
Oh, right. Sorry. You have your eyes. When you said you couldn't do push-ups, I was confused, but it's because you got your wisdom tooth out.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe do some stretches.
I think stretching probably would help. Maybe I'll just stretch, listen to music, get in the zone, try to get in the zone, because I've just been on my phone instead of...
You could just browse Snapchat endlessly.
That's what I've been doing.
I know. I know you have.
I know. At least I'm not on... Okay.
You could pick up a brand new video game. You could buy a VR. You could buy a VR and play a lot of VR.
And then play VR all the way until 11 o'clock, and then take your test at 11. Oh, I have 90 minutes, so take my test at 10:30.
I like everything we've said so far. Okay. Do I want to Jace instead of Uro here? I guess we get to shrink the Goyfs.
Goyf? I like that name.
Stop procrastinating. Get out of here.
Okay, where's the Goyf? Termagoyf. Okay. Goyf. Okay. Goodbye.
I believe in you. You can do great.
Thank you.
I feel like so if we Jace and we find a fetch land, we have 2 blockers. If we find like fetch land plus removal spell, it's real good. And then just as like we really want to find a land off of Uro, this is good. I think. I suppose I Decay now just in case they're playing Apostle's Blessing. No, I was supposed to play around Temur Battle Rage, not Apostle's Blessing. What am I doing? Oh, I guess we're not dead to TBR. No, we take 12. Yeah, we go to 1 if they have TBR and not another spell. Yeah, I know they have Cling. I don't think that's that big a deal though. They attack everything at Jace. Whew, that's pretty good for us. So it's good. It's so this way they can't cling to dust my Uro and also kill Jace with a spell, right? So we should be able, unless they have a 0 mana spell in their hand, we should be able untapping with Jace here. A concept that's important to internalize is C's get degrees. I agree completely, but Esther is like super driven when it comes to schoolwork, which is something I really admire in her. Again, we're going to continue the trend of saying really nice things about Esther when she leaves. But I do think that if Esther was not an influence in my life, I would not have found success streaming. But she's such a hard worker. She really has, in a lot of ways, inspired me to be the best version of myself. So we kind of bricked there. By kind of, I mean we did brick, but we can fetch up a Mystic Sanctuary for next turn. Although I'm not sure what we're getting. Maybe just Spiral to make an extra zombie. If they attack Jace again, we just, don't need to block. Then we have 2 zombies. Yeah, I think it's important to look for a partner who brings out your best qualities. I know that's kind of a vague thing, but if you can feel yourself, if you admire something in a person, it's often because they have a quality that you lack, and I think that's a good sign that, they'll be a good influence on you. Yeah, drawing no spells there was so bad. Just gonna let this happen. If you're perfect already, then maybe maybe consider being a good influence on your partner and having a great life. They put Dolores into their hand. They play a Shadow. Yeah, I think we just get Spiral here. And that way if we draw a land off of Spiral, we at least get an extra zombie. Don't think the removal spells are really doing very much. Like, getting back a removal spell here just seems so loose. Obviously, we're hoping to get something else. Well, they're attacking for a lot. I think I'm just going to put my opponent to 3. Could have killed Swift. I mean, only if they didn't have a spell to cast, which I kind of feel they probably do have one in their hand. I guess we're dead to any removal spell, which is not great. I think this attack was bad. I feel like it gives us outs to just like draw Cryptic and kill them. Yeah, I don't know. Tough game. Just like breaking on that Jace was such a hard thing to have happen. We do get to go to game 2. I think Arasta is good against these style decks. So is Veil of Summer, of course. The Remands and Forces do not shine. I think Gargaroth is good. Better than Typhoon. Let me not play Tail's End, I think. I might want Spellbomb. Maybe I just want Gusts. Play 1 Shark, 4 Gust. Kind of like this. This looks pretty good to me. Our opponent won. We bricked kind of hard on our Jace. Drew 3 lands. Drew a land for turn, brainstorm into 3 lands. Which is what happened to me the one time I played Brian Bronduin. We were playing the Miracle's Mirror and Legacy back before Sensei's Divining Top was banned. And we had a really intense counterspell war where Brian had the 4th Force of Will to ensure that my Jace the Mind Sculptor didn't resolve. But when the dust cleared, my hand was Brainstorm Ponder. Brian had no cards in hand, and I passed to Brian, who untapped and drew a top. And I had like 7 mana in play. I was so excited. I drew my card. It was a land. And I brainstormed and pondered, and I saw 7 lands. And I passed, and then Brian, I think, found a Jace or something, but ended up winning the game after finding a threat. I can't remember which threat. I think maybe it was Monastery Mentor, but it was so brutal because Brian was someone I really looked up to, and I guess still really look up to. I felt like I was in such a good position to win, and ran so badly. Turn 3 Arasta, the nut draw. What are my thoughts on Ario decks running around? I think they're very cool. And I think they have potential. I think the Esper versions are good. I watched Nassif play the Esper version yesterday. It looks solid. I also think that they're very beatable. I think the Bant one I tested was bad. I went 0-4 with it. And then after watching the Esper one play, like Unearth and Mentor both seemed really, really strong and probably just a better direction to go in. But one day I'll get my revenge on Brian Bronduin. Dude, this is the turn 3 Arasta on the play through an Inquisition. Amazing. Never had a better hand in my life. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get a tapped breeding pool so I can play Arasta next turn. I don't think we have to kill Goyf right now. I'm not gonna get back a Growth Spiral. I got the 3rd and 4th ones already in my hand. Yeah, Brian was the people's champ. Someone I was always really happy to root for. Someone I really admire. What's the format schedule for this weekend? Does it start with Historic or Standard? I have no idea. I will play the matches when they tell me to play them, but I don't know which ones start first. That's a 2-for-1, baby. You just got 2-for-1. Hell yeah. Game over. Game over. Why is my opponent still playing? I don't understand playing it out here, but whatever, I guess. Alright, so we push the Goyf and then Sanctuary back the push and pass.
Do you not have a point reward redemption for Athena treats anymore?
I don't. She was getting too many, and it was bad for her digestion.
Okay.
Well, we could just give her a treat, you know.
Yeah, because it's the one a day.
Yeah, we've got a treat advent calendar for Athena. I thought you were focusing on your...
I was stretching, but you see, this is the advent calendar. And...
Okay, my opponent may have a chance to win.
Okay, do you want to... I can give one to her. Do you want to put the camera?
Do I want to put the camera?
Like,
is she in here?
Not yet.
I'll get her in here. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Athena, come here. You want over here?
Where is she? Is she? I'm just kind of focused on this match of magic.
Okay, look, Athena, sit. No. Sit. Yes. Oh.
She's so good. Wait, is today the 1st or the 2nd? Did you give her hers yesterday?
Second, but I gave her the
1st. Close game of Magic we got here. Don't have another Sanctuary to get back this push. Can't believe we're not ahead when we had the absolute nuts. Our reign might be ended. I'm not sure where it's from. My mom got it for us. The 8-0 run. The 8-0 run has ended to Jun's Shadow. No hit run. It's not happening today. House of Mana says, Spike, this isn't what it looks like. House of Mana, I'm assuming this means Mana is not playing Titan for the first time ever. Most of 4 maybe is playing Titan. Most of 3. I guess House is playing Oops All Spells. Tron. He says, I am not proud, and neither am I. Shame on you for not playing Titan over and over and over every single day like Fran does. Very clearly. Someone take this man's Primeval Titans away. Is it Etron? I don't think Etron really ever mulls to 3, but Greentron does. I wanted to push Goyf, and if we're going to Sanctuary, it seems... Push the Goyf, and if we were going to Sanctuary, it seemed value to get that back instead of nothing. I thought I did Sanctuary back the Goyf, the push. Did I not? I guess on the first Sanctuary, just don't play anything. Maybe that's good. Kind of interesting. I think we can play this tapped. Because this Misty will make sure the Sanctuary enters untapped, but I don't want to not have Remand up here. If you lose to an opponent mull to 3, what do I have to do in shame? I have to play the next game. Just have to play the next games. The what I have to do. I've lost to an opponents who've mulled to 3. I've won on a mull to 1 in Modern before the London Mulligan was a thing. I think it's pretty obvious what my one card is, though. Leyline of the Void. But that was before the London Mulligan. That was before the London Mulligan, so it's more impressive. So, ooh, okay, well, I guess we're casting that next turn. Okay, go. I guess we can't push and trophy. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yeah, awkward to have to play a basic island instead of a mystical tutor. Yeah, this is the new Secret Lair art. I bought it for like $5 today. Really excited to play with it. So hopefully we can just Jace into a land to hold up Remand. Oh no, we already have enough mana. Amazing. Wishes come true without even being necessary at all. I'm gonna pitch the Spiral to force if we need to force for some reason, but I think this game's over. We did beat Mono Green Tron earlier. I don't like imagine that this matchup is like secretly great, but it seems winnable. It seems winnable because we've been winning. This is why you guys come to twitch.tv/aspiringspike, is for amazing and insightful commentary like that. I won the matchup, so it seems winnable. Don't think we need to hold up Cryptic when we have Force plus Remand up. My opponent doesn't even have Tron. Yeah, people continue to act like there's anything of value to be gained by coming here. But as we all know, this is really just all entertainment all the time, baby. I severely doubt that House is ghosting. I think that House is probably just like muted the Twitch chat. House is a friend of the channel. Would I suggest playing lands in the decks? Overrated. I think I'd keep Shark over Ur here. Because if we're like, I think if we're gonna turn 3 Field of Ruin, and then turn 4 hold up Cryptic, we're gonna want to have the ability to Shark Typhoon if we don't need to Cryptic. We were the ones that mulled to 5 this time. Our opponent only... Oh, they also mulled to 5. Okay. Never mind. Oh, I got you, Maxi. I think it's just usually good to, like, nip any, you know... any ghosting conversations in the bud, because people love to... they love to hunt those witches. I guess we need to get Basic Island, which is super awkward in our Sultai deck, but I want to cast Cryptic Command next turn. If I draw Force of Negation, I'll probably play Jace. Oh, they did not play a Tron piece, but they did play a Ballista. Weird. So I'm not going to play a 2/2, just like lose my Shark to the pump. There's a second Tron piece into Star. I think I'm just going to make a 2/2. A very castable Assassin's Trophy has been drawn.
Baby.
Yeah.
I'm buying tamales from a friend.
This is for your own good. You need to focus on your test. You can't come in here and say I need to focus and say, let's give Athena a treat. I'm buying tamales.
Okay.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, go study.
Get out of here. Come on, Athena. Let's go.
Ooh. Opponent having a hard time assembling Tron, but I think that's what House gets for not playing Titan. I'm just gonna get a Triome here. It doesn't fix either of these colors, but helps. I think we Jace Brainstorm too. Cool. Mana is now perfect. I'm not going to trophy a Tron piece yet. I think I'm just going to pass, and if House pumps up the Ballista, we get to decay the Ballista. Obviously, we hope that they don't have Tron into Big Thing here, but with them stumbling, I don't think that's super likely, and I would love to bait them into kind of tapping low. Okay, so they do have Tron, so I think we should probably decay now before they can pump the Ballista like 3 times. I guess only 2 times. Does not... Oh, pings... Did they ping me? Pings me, so I guess they're killing the Jace with, like, this. Yeah. But we can Assassin's Trophy Ugin, and we also don't have to Assassin's Trophy the Ugin right now. This is not a differently named land for field. I guess that Scavenger Grounds is a bit of a problem. But maybe they won't have mana to activate it if they tap out for something huge. But I don't think we don't need to trophy the Ugin right now. That doesn't do very much. They've got 1 card left in their hand. If it's some like super powerful banger of a spell, they haven't cast it yet. So let me just go ahead and make a 3/3 Shark and then trophy the Ugin. Hopefully it's not a Veil of Bummer. Uh-oh. Okay. That pause gave me some pause there. But now we have the Burrow, Field of the Dead, Splinter Twin. We have a Cryptic Command, feeling pretty good. Opponent gets a Sanctum of Ugin. So I'm going to counterbounce their Sanctum. Still can't Snapcaster anything effectively because of the Scavenger Grounds. For those of you, if you hear the siren, they do monthly testing on Wednesdays for tornado sirens here, so may not be something you're used to hearing, but that's, I believe, what's happening. if the world's ending, somebody let me know, so I can maybe focus on that instead. But I think we're fine. Yeah, so we can Snapcaster, and then in response to Scavenger Ground, Snapcaster again. This is quite the stack. I'm gonna counterbalance the Sanctum again. Especially don't want to really draw a card, because maybe it'll be a card they can hurt me with, because with this Emrakul. I don't think this is something you always want to do, but it has seemed right the last couple turns. Which is my least favorite Snapcaster art? I don't have a least favorite, but this is my favorite. I think the other two are about the same. You're gonna cast the Uro? They have to cast Uro, otherwise they lose. What will you draw that gets terrible? I mean, the removal spells. I mean, not that I have very many, but the thing is, whatever I draw gives them a better chance of ruining me with the Emrakul trigger. Not that, honestly, not that there's very much that really messes me up that they can draw, but I think you want to give them as few options as possible for the Emrakul turn. They would have to like chain a lot of things together.